And we're live. Welcome back, everyone, to the HVAC 2.0 show. We got a small crew with us today. Got Ken, Reedy, and Ted. And I guess we'll just start off and get right into it. I know we were talking a little bit before, wanting to kind of get into some of Reedy's numbers, and it sounded like Reedy had a few stories to debrief with and stuff. So may just start with there. How's your first quarter been looking?
Well, my first quarter's pretty good. They kind of the first. I'll start here. I didn't get all the numbers in the first quarter because they didn't give me my lead log until April. So I'll start where I'm at right now. That's where we'll go off of. I have 55%. That's my closing rate. My average sales 15,000. My revenue per lead is 8,400, and I'm just shy of 940,000. 114 leads.
114 leads, 940,000.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Yeah. It's, of course, there have been a couple of comfort consults in there that sold. I just did one. I just did a comfort consult yesterday. And the lady called me because she had, well, no, it wasn't yesterday. I'm sorry. It was today. She had lines where the wood was, where her, rafters were. And so we kind of talked, and I asked her, I said, "Are you burning candles? Are you using that fireplace?" She said, "Oh, I burn candles every single day in this house." And yeah, it was quite humid when I went in there. She's trying to save energy.
Humidity and soot.
Yeah, and somebody encapsulated her crawl. They said they encapsulated her crawl space, but all they did was they put a vapor barrier on the ground, closed up the door, and put a supply vent into the crawl space. And yeah, so I went over there. We did the blower door test, found out quite a bit. She's got 2,200 square foot house. She's got a 1,300 blower door.
Oh, nice.
Oversized equipment, and she turns the unit off. She doesn't even let it run. And I asked her why she did that, and she said because she doesn't like to be cold. And so closes doors.
You had to show her how to use the thermostat?
Yeah. And when I left today, of course, I haven't given her any recommendations other than don't turn the thermostat off. And
don't put it so low.
Well, she just turned it off. And so it wasn't coming on. And, I said, why don't you consider leaving this thing running? And, because it was 76 degrees and the humidity was in the 60s when I was there.
Whew.
And, she's got black soot on her carpet. So stop burning candles.
Stop with the candles.
Open the doors and turn your air conditioning on. The house is only 6 years old. And she called the builder. And she told him that the house was too loose. And that was before we did any blower door testing, because somebody told her she had negative pressure. And that was the cause.
I wonder how she has negative pressure.
Well, she doesn't. She's not.
Well,
running.
she does. She's got a supply to her crawl space.
That's. I'm talking about when it runs. She doesn't run it. She doesn't run it at all.
Right.
And so, the only way she has negative pressure is when she does a dryer, and she leaves her bath fans running from time to time. Forgets about it.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
So was her main complaint to get the comfort consult for kind of, I guess, air quality, the soot that she was noticing?
Her main complaint is that she wanted to understand why she had that soot what to do about it so it doesn't happen again.
Hmm.
And so,
what about the soot was a problem for it? Was she kind of worried about breathing that in, or like the negative effects there, or was it just a cleanliness thing?
It was just a cleanliness. Yeah.
Okay.
She was going to get to. I said, "How long has this been going on?" And she said, "Well, it started about 3 years ago, but it's getting worse and worse." And she hired a painter. Painter comes, says, "This is not normal," and so she called. He said she called the insurance company, and the insurance company says, "Call your HVAC company." The HVAC company goes out there, and our company goes out there and tells her that you need to think about doing a comfort consult. So that was good. Got me out there.
Good for them.
Yeah. And so, we talked about. She said, "Well, what if I don't want to do the comfort consult?" I said, then you can guess. And I said, there's a whole lot I don't know. Yeah. So she decided she was going to do it. And, I mean, it's oversized. It's everything's oversized. She doesn't run it right. When her kids come, they run it at 65 degrees. And,
but it gets the humidity down.
Yeah, right. And
what's the equipment?
It's a single stage train, 3-ton.
Okay.
So really, what she needs, if we did it on her energy use, which was 9,400 kilowatt hours a year. If we did it on that, she needs about 1 ton.
Wow.
Oh, hold on for a second. Just give me 1 second.
Oh,
Ken, you want to come in?
Business calls.
Give us an idea what's going on in your world.
That was for who?
For you. Do you want to?
No, for
give
me.
Us update on your world. How's your grandson doing?
Things have been quiet. My son called today because they've got a system that. Let's see, new equipment that. New system that they put in, and there seems to be a restriction. Suction pressure is low, 68 psi on a 410 system. And they were doing more than just basing it on suction pressure, but they couldn't get suction pressure up. They've replaced the TXV, and I think they then replaced the coil again after talking with manufacturer tech support. Maybe they did not replace the line set. I suspect they did not. So now
so they replaced it and kept the line set the same?
Line set. But he said it's visible. So unless there's something, maybe the suction line is kinked somewhere. So he called me and I said, well, either replace the line set or peel off all the insulation and then re-insulate it. Find your restriction.
Yeah. I started using those whatever the wipes where you can wipe the inside of the line set. Like if it's a pipe wipe in those situations, just because if it is like if you can't get to it or if you can't see it, I can't remember what the number is, but it was like those foam pigs will make it through up until it's bent or constricted by like a certain percent, and it's like that it gets into the range where once it's kinked that much, that's when it'll start giving problems. So I've just kind of had a rule of thumb that I run those wipes through. If the pigs make it through, line set's good or should be good. If it doesn't go through, then it's hey, got to replace the line set.
Are you testing for acid also?
Not unless there's a reason to. If it was like dead compressor situation, I would, but if not, then no.
Then the cleaning is good enough, probably.
Yeah, it's kind of because you're flowing nitrogen and stuff through it, and granted, you're not gonna get everything out of it, but it will get the bulk of any oil and stuff that's in the line set out. And which if someone's not wanting to replace the line set, if it's they're budget's the only factor for them type situation, then it comes with, you know, the warning of, hey, just so you know, it's best practice to replace the line set, so that way there's no residue of the old system that's going to get into the new system to potentially contaminate. So by saving a little bit of money, we do carry some risk, and so that's responsibly
I,
avoiding
I like how you did
responsibility
that.
there.
That sounds really good. Okay, Reedy.
Yeah, so we done the comfort consult. I thought I did it yesterday, but it was this morning. I'm putting everything together. We'll go back next week and we'll see what she does. We'll see what she's got to say. That was
How old's her equipment?
6. House is only 6 and the equipment's 6.
Okay.
So, and it's funny because she bought this house and it was built. It's one of them ones you kind of go up on, and wasn't really it's in a neighborhood, but it was an older neighborhood and the house was there. And so she just liked how it looked and bought it. And the bad thing is she's a first time homeowner.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
is part of the recommendation to go with a BAD and a fresh air scuttle?
yeah, she's got her static pressure was, as it was with that big 6-inch, drop in the crawl space, it was 0.4, and she that's only moving, it's not even moving the air that the 3 tons supposed to move. It's only moving 1100. And so when I looked at what her trunk was, the only way it's doing that is because they've got that big leak in there. It's only a 12-inch pipe. It's 30 feet long with 12-inch pipe. And so
wow. That's the supply?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
So what I'm going to recommend is fresh air, filtration, some of the duct modification, and a dehumidifier, a ventilating dehumidifier. That's what I recommend. If she doesn't want to change the equipment, even if she does, I'm still going to recommend that, because I don't think, no matter what, I don't think she's going to turn that unit on. We did today, but I'll bet you I'll go back there next week and that unit will be turned off. And
I think you got to dig at the pain of running the unit. Is it noisy?
No.
Oh.
No, it's energy usage. She's so scared of, she's got this low kilowatt hours per year, and she loves it, and she likes the idea that she's the best on the list and all of this. And
she should be getting a green speed then.
Yeah, well, and if she doesn't, then I'm at least gonna, so I can avoid responsibility, I'm at least gonna recommend, in my opinion, what she needs to do is get a 2-ton green speed, and
right, because that'll run down low enough.
Right, do some duct modifications, maybe get the dehumidifier and encapsulate the crawl space. That's what I see at this point.
Yeah, which I did. I just had my duculator right here next. If for a 12-inch supply duct, in order for that to move the amount of airflow that a 3-ton would move, you would have to have a duct system of a friction rate of 0.3.
Right. That's exactly right. And I mean, the only way she's got the static pressure, it's skewed because of that 6-inch duct. Yeah. And that's the reality of the negative pressure there, right there. When I checked the zonal, I said it was an encapsulated crawl space. It's really not. It's crawl space that doesn't have any foundation vents, is what it is. And they told her it was an encapsulated crawl space. when I did the zonal on the crawl space, it was 40. Whereas
Oh,
the attic's 49.6.
right.
So, it's
Hmm.
it's confused.
That's confused. But pretty
And
much outdoors.
yeah, pretty much outdoors. And that's what I told her. I said, it's mostly outdoors, but there's a little bit of indoors. And I said, you got to pick inside or outside. And so we'll see what happens with that.
Do you think she got it?
I do.
Was she happy about the what the comfort console gave her so far?
Yeah, because she was getting ready to paint her whole house. And the fact is she didn't want it to happen again. And if she's, you can stop burning candles all you want, but if you've got high humidity and negative pressure,
You're still going to get the shading.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just from regular household dust.
Yeah. And she was happy. She said, now I finally kind of got some understanding. Of course, we didn't go into it even as deep as we talked about right here, but she got a good understanding of, that the crawl space isn't closed because you can feel air coming out of the holes around the duct. So,
yeah.
Normally your attic is like 47 or 46 and the crawl space might be close to being the same, but the attic I think it was 49.6. And so, it's reasonable attic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what she's going to do. We're finishing up a big job, a big sort of remodel job. And that guy, when I got there, he had 4 units. He had 11 tons. And right now he's got 6 tons. And still a little oversized, but it's all, it's variable. We got green speed in there for the bulk of it, a 2-ton green speed for that. And then in his basement, I put a 6,000 BTU high wall or 12,000 BTU high wall because it was 6,000, but he wanted me to go up higher. So we've got that whole entire basement, which is 1,400 square feet, and the mini split ain't even running, and it's cool down there. And so he really doesn't need much of anything. The 6,000 was for heat, and then he's got another 3 zone where we put a ducted one in and 2 high walls, and that dude has changed his mind 100 times. He called us out there today. We had that green speed. It's been up and running for a month now. And he said, your guys put this in the middle of the room. And I said, that's because when we asked, you said, put it in the closet where it is. And I said, now you pulled the closet away and it's in the middle of the room. And it's been running for a month and he knew it. And he said, well, what's it going to cost to do it? Is it going to cost an arm and a leg? And I finally got this opportunity. I said, no, it's just going to cost 2 arms. He said,
you want the good news or the bad news?
Yeah. He said, what's it going to cost? And I said, it's probably going to cost about $3,500 for us to move it. And you're going to get no gain in function or benefit. I said, you're still going to have space took up in the room. What do you want to do? And he said, no, I don't want to do it. So I'm good with that. Good with it. It was a $67,000 job. We gave him a sort of a reduced rate because it was a remodel. But now he's a customer of ours, in every way. And he loves with that 2-ton running in there, it was over 1,800 square feet. He's got when it was 94 degrees outside, it was holding 72 and 50% humidity inside the house.
Nice.
So it's
Did you
doing
look at the run? Did you look at the staging?
when I went there that day, it was at 90. I think it was at 98%.
Oh, okay. So running good, but
Yeah.
it was also carrying the rest of the house because the other ones weren't installed.
Right. That's the whole.
So he's got a 2-ton house with 6-ton. That
Yeah.
it used to be a 2-ton house with 12-ton.
Yeah, and it's funny because you won't know this unless you dig around and know some things. But when we started, I told him, I said, I don't think this basement needs anything, and he goes, yes, it does. I said, does. I said, okay. So
Okay.
I said, is that what
Your
you want?
money.
Yeah, you want me to put some? Yes, I do. Okay, so we did, and when I went there in January. It was cold. It was like, I think it was 28 or 29 degrees. And
Was I there with you?
no, and it wasn't in January. It was in November when I went.
Okay.
That was the guy I was telling you about that had the roof deck that got frost on it. And it's because he had no ventilation in his attic.
Right.
And the
Okay.
roof deck was moldy. So is that guy. So the basement felt good and the back side of the house felt good. The back side of the house, it's on a slab, and so it didn't have anywhere near the heat loss, and it doesn't feel as good as the rest of the house, but there's still too much in it, just too much in it, because otherwise that 2-ton's carrying that house. It was 87 or 88 degrees today, and the back side of the house was in the mid 70s, like 76, 77. So, and the humidity wasn't outrageous either in the house.
Nice.
So it just goes to show you dig around a little bit and you actually look. The truth of the matter is that we can put smaller equipment in and it'll still work just fine.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Tanner had an experience in Atlanta last weekend.
Do tell. Can't hear you, Tanner.
Muted.
Oh, muted. Forgot to take it off. Yeah, which I guess it's just funny. I always, especially here lately, I've just been finding all of the super humid houses. But me and some friends, we got an Airbnb out in Atlanta for going to this knife show and stuff. And the Airbnb was super nice place. It was great. But we walked in and it was 77% humidity and it never got below, I think 71 was as low as I seen it get. And that was after we bumped the set point down to like 68. It was like 76 in there when we first got there. And so we just cranked it down, just trying to get it to run. It did not get any better, so it was just sticky, humid the entire time. And of course, had to go do a little looking around to try to see what was going on with it. And it was a 2-ton Mitsubishi, one of the, I can't remember the model number, but it was the mini split outdoor unit paired with an air handler, non-communicating, the typical thing that we've talked about quite a bit here, that just seems like time and time again just constantly come to the same conclusion that they don't dehumidify. And it
Warm
was just
coil.
another case for that being the case. But I'm sure I bet it's really efficient though.
Tanner's
Probably
gonna
uses
have
no
to
energy.
start taking. Tanner's gonna have to start taking dehumidifiers with him when he goes on trips.
Yeah, I guess so.
Did you see anything growing or anything?
No, it was a really new house. Actually, when we punched in the address and it popped up, you know how like Google will show like pictures of where you're going, and we punched in the address and it was just like this old abandoned church, and we're like, we might want to double check, make sure we're going to the right place. And then we looked at the map, and there's just like an empty lot across from it. But what it was is somebody bought the empty lot and built kind of 3 townhouses essentially in that spot. So if I had to guess, it was probably less than 2 years old or something. Very nice. Like they didn't cheap out. Like it wasn't they didn't build this house going like we're just trying to make the cheapest thing possible. I mean, they had an induction cooktop. They had a nice refrigerator. And then they bought a Mitsubishi. Like that's not a cheap piece of equipment.
Top of the line in that sector.
Yep. But it just goes to show that. And if I had to guess, the square footage was probably around 1,800, maybe 2,000 square feet. It was a 2-ton system. So like, it's based on standard practices and rules of thumb, nothing sticks out of going like, oh, you bought good equipment. It's a 2-ton system, not obscenely oversized, but still 70% humidity.
Well, so, and in talking to Tanner about that today, and also Timmy, got us thinking that in some situations you might want to add a row and have that row express the latent capacity of the equipment. Because if you do that, then people realize they shouldn't be buying those Mitsubishis or a Bosch. And one of the things that I was informed of today is even if it's a fully communicating system, some of those communicating systems don't really pay attention to latent. You can't prioritize latent. So even if I was under the misunderstanding that if you got fully communicating, it would know. But apparently some of these fully communicating systems don't know.
Well,
or even if they do, they want to run a warm coil.
I think it's more maybe the controller that they chose, because I use Mitsubishi a good bit, and the expanded performance is actually pretty good on those versus their counterparts. So I don't even know how they had it could be a standard. It could be. It might, like Mitsubishi will use something that says Honeywell on the front of it, but it's actually a communicating thermostat that's.
Yeah, well, some of them it's, I guess to like what Ted was saying, because there are some, because like mini splits are technically communicating, but
They probably had to use the Ecobee. They probably had to use like a Wi-Fi adapter, which extremely dumbs down the communicating capabilities of the equipment.
Yeah.
So that's probably.
Oh, that's interesting. There's so many little details you got to understand about each piece of equipment.
Yeah,
is mind-boggling.
Yeah, that's why I guess I just went back to in saying that it's kind of the same thing that we've all kind of come to the conclusion of non-communicating variable speed equipment is just not going to dehumidify. There's just not. I've not seen one yet that dehumidifies well.
Because in order for it to do what it is designed to do, it has to have proprietary communication.
Yeah, well, it needs that. It needs that in order to run a cold coil to dehumidify well. It needs to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And the non-communicating equipment tends to just go based off superheat and suction pressure to keep the compressor happy. And I don't know for sure. Not an engineer, but I would imagine it's probably fudge factor for safety of the equipment than it is anything else. They're probably just more like
and the protocols that, like, when they say, oh, you can use any thermostat with this adapter, then it's just basically making it a single stage unit. You're paying 3-4 times the cost for the equipment that can do all this stuff, but in order for it to work with this thermostat that you want, it's going to be, they have to make it thermo on, thermo off. So in order for it to do that, then it dumbs all the communication down to where it's not going to work as the engineers intended it to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. That, and I mean it. It's also funny. There's especially like Mitsubishi. It always seems like when you see Mitsubishis that are installed, they always have dehumidifiers, whole house dehumidifiers with them, which is like probably is
Oh,
the
what
right
a
way to do it.
shame.
It probably is needed, but like there's certain people online that you see on YouTube or whatever of this really nice house, and they'll be like, we went with the best Mitsubishi, and we went with this whole house dehumidifier to keep the humidity in check, blah blah blah. And every time I see those, I always just think like, I mean, or you could
Could
have
have
just
done
got
a
like a
green speed
Carrier,
for that
yeah,
money.
grease speed. You
Or
could
they
have
could
got
have just got a Mitsubishi and not put a standard thermostat on it and sized it correctly. Most of the time, when you see somebody wanting to sell a dehumidifier with air conditioner, it's because they oversized a single or two-stage system.
yeah. Which I mean,
Didn't go on there.
in reality, if you don't have electric reheat, you in order to really ensure you're not going to get high humidity, you have to have a whole house dehumidifier.
Yeah,
Really, I mean, you could even make the case that honestly, even with a green speed,
yeah.
there are
There's
scenarios where
times.
there's times it's needed. It's just it becomes a cost to benefit analysis,
Yeah,
and I think for non-electric reheat inverter systems, it makes more sense for if someone has the money, then maybe the dehumidifier is going to be beneficial because I mean, as much I know, even with Nate's house, his game house where we did the Daikin Fit, if the once the temperature gets above, I can't remember I think it was like 78, something like that. If it's above that temperature, it does great. But as soon as it gets at that temperature or below, you're gonna have high
outside.
humidity. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, in any green grass climate, in those periods where you don't need cooling, then you got to do something.
yeah.
Either reheat or
Yep,
dehumidify. So,
yep.
which, like right now, it's June, but it really hadn't hit 90 but a couple of times here and there. And like the air conditioners really don't have to run that much. So you got
Hmm.
a 1,800 square foot house with 3 tons, and then it's going to run for 10 minutes.
Yeah, 1 ton
Oh,
of
yeah.
load.
So, and the humidity, I mean, it's been raining. This April, May is rain season. So it's going to be humid.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to deal with it one way or another. One way or
Hmm.
another.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was talking to another contractor. It might have been 2 weeks ago or something like that, and it was it's along these same lines, which is different because like we've all kind of done some degree of building diagnostics, blow door testing, really accurate load calculations to kind of unravel and come to a lot of these conclusions. But then you talk to people that just haven't, and it is quite funny because there was a conversation being had about how there was a house. They were like, oh well, it's what they say. I want to say it was like 2,000 square foot, but it was a 80s. It was built in the 80s there for so it's a 2.5 ton all day long. But and we oversize it just a little bit, but it don't matter because we did a inverter system, blah blah blah. And then I get to digging into what type of inverter system, and it was just some like York side discharge, non-communicating type system, and you just internally just shake your head, being like, it's the mold problems are coming from these houses.
It's the difference between 10 to 12 and 25 to 30.
Oh yeah.
So that's the customer's decision.
Oh
As
yeah.
long as you let them know up front what they're
Yep.
looking at.
Oh yeah.
We want to start using likely load to maybe communicate range of the equipment as well, so that people understand if you get this nice modulating piece of equipment,
The Braves?
when there's really low load, it'll be way to the left of the green because it can ramp down. It can ramp all the way both sides of the green and then way below the green as well. Whereas if you have a 2-stage and you go more than middle of the green, well, even on low stage, it's not going to be below the green. And the green is really probably what your load's going to be under worst case. And so, you know, on meat of the season, mild weather, you're going to get short cycling if you don't lean hard to the green with a 2-stage. And if you're going 1-stage, well, the only way you'll get that thing to run is if you sit on the left side of the green.
Yeah.
And that'll help them understand that the green doesn't represent a range of operation across a range of weather. It represents worst case.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, well, my back is giving me huge pain. So if you want this to be not an hour-long meeting, I'm good with that. Jason Trammell, you're nice to see you.
Yeah, it's good
What's
to
been
see
going
you
on? What's been going on with you, buddy?
too. Just same old, same old.
Something slow down, or your kids aren't doing baseball right now, or
No,
what's up?
they're doing baseball and all the things.
But you got the night off.
Yeah. Well, my wife took my son to practice
Oh, okay.
tonight.
And
But
and business is good.
business is good, yeah. I'm busy, but it's just me again.
And you're happier that way.
Yeah. But we'll see how I feel in a few weeks. 'Cause it's already just like nonstop.
Okay. Tanner, how's that lead generation group?
Oh, BNI.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Are you attending regular?
Yeah, I've attended every meeting.
Oh, good for
I
you.
do
Good for
have
you.
a comfort consult I'm doing in the morning. I've really only done work for members of BNI. I've not actually
Okay.
got any leads from them yet.
Well, you're going to have a nice case study and referral group.
Oh yeah, because luckily a lot. Well, I say luckily, the ones that I'm currently working on, they're kind of well, I know I've talked about one before on here. It's a house where it's an air quality issue. They have chicken houses, 3 daughters, with the youngest being on 3 different medications for asthma, has severe flare-ups anytime they sell chickens or they cut hay. And so it's going to be a long, multiple step thing that we do there, but it'll turn into a good case study. So that'll be a good one. The one that I'm doing tomorrow, it's somebody that they've had this house for a few years now, but they have multiple houses that they were in Florida for a while, and so they've moved back up. And the main complaint they said was when the house stays locked up and they go in, they just have a strong chemical smell that's in the house, and they have to open up all the doors, let it air out, and it kind of gets a little better, but it still stays. They said it stays pretty consistent. They said when they bought the house, the owner or the previous owner had encapsulated the crawl space, but they didn't put a dehumidifier down there.
Right on.
Yeah, encapsulation was kind of like, I mean, they put plastic up and they put it up on the wall and it looked nice, but in terms of encapsulating, something that I just don't like on how a lot of people do it, the way they fasten the vapor barrier to the wall is they just use concrete nails and just they'll space it out every 2 feet or something like that. But you go up to the vapor barrier that's up against the crawl space and you just grab it and pull it back, and you can look
There's a
straight
big
down and see
gap.
dirt. Yeah.
Right.
So it's like that's doing nothing.
So they didn't
it's
spray
not doing.
foam.
It's doing more than nothing, but
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not doing
Oh,
nothing,
sure.
but it's
It's not
It's not
encapsulated.
great. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's encapsulated, but it's not fully sealed, and it's
Right.
it looks the part, but it's not really performing the part. Uh, they After they bought the house, they ended up adding a dehumidifier because somebody told them they needed to. But when I got there and was looking, the dehumidifier actually wasn't working right. It was a Santa Fe, which is going to be the first Santa Fe that I've going to have to do under warranty. So I'm going to figure out what their warranty's like. I've
It's pretty easy.
never had an issue there, but yeah, I wouldn't suspect so. And so doing a comfort consult in the morning, and so there's probably going to be their HVAC is almost certainly oversized. I think they said they have 2,500 square feet total. It's two separate floors, and they have, what was it? They had, I think it was 3.5 tons of cooling or 4 tons. I can't remember exactly. So it's quite a bit for the size of the house. And so, and plus they said that it seems very efficient because it doesn't cost very much. They said it's extremely quiet. They can't hear, much going on outside. So odds are it's probably a fairly well insulated house that is just oversized. While I was there, I took my psychrometers, checked humidity, and of course the humidity was kind of high. They had a Nest thermostat that was also showing that it was high. Uh, and so it'll probably turn into a pretty good one because they're at the point where they're like, this is a house, we're moving it, or we're going to be staying here from now on. This is going to be our main house, and we plan to live here for a very long time. So they're at a place of they want to get it fixed and want to get it fixed ASAP.
Okay. So a fresh air scuttle will be really a big thing for them.
Yeah.
And unless they want to change the equipment, probably fresh air into a dehumidifier.
Right.
Yeah.
And finish sealing up the crawl space.
Yeah. Which they've got two separate systems on this house. And the downstairs unit is an older unit anyways. And so depending on what the load of the house comes out to, and depending on especially how tight the house is, that's probably going to swing things quite a bit because the cost, honestly, if they're going to be looking at a ventilating dehumidifier, you know,
Yeah.
Again,
the
we
doc,
already covered that. May as well go with the baby green speed.
yeah, or dock and
Anyway.
fit territory at least
Right.
and up. I mean, it's like at that point you're already spending you're spending pretty close to the same amount.
10 grand.
Yeah, so it's like spend a few extra thousand. The duct work. I know the return was massively undersized for the downstairs unit because it was a 12-inch, and it was flex duct that was just ran every which way. So it looked pretty bad. So there's a lot of potential improvements to be made. I'm also, which I was hoping I've got a few of the new Haven room monitors that I'm going to figure out how I want to start, like
Do you
doing
have
some
one
short-term
handy?
investigating. I do. I've got
Oh,
three.
show it.
Oh, actually, I take that back. Actually, I don't. I put them
Okay.
in my truck because I've got three. I've got one in my living room that I was testing out, and I have three extras that I was planning on putting at the house that I was talking about before. That's got the chicken houses close by that we were doing. I have three that's supposed to go there, and I've got four more that I ordered on the way, and so I'm not sure if I'll use the three that I have now on this house tomorrow if they want to do some additional testing and then wait for the other ones to come in to put at the other house or not. But probably going to do something with those just because since they're already worried about air quality and stuff. I think those room monitors are going to be pretty nice just to get a good, because I can deploy several in a house and get a sense of what kind of CO2 spikes are we looking at, VOCs if they cook or when they cook, particulate matter, that sort of thing, and see what that's like. And those can kind of help them wrap their minds around why fresh air or better filtration would be useful and such. And especially could be something that you can put them in short term, see what it was before, do the install, leave them in for a few weeks afterwards, gather a good bit of data. They can see, here's why. They can see the improvements from the data, and plus it can kind of make an easy pathway for creating case studies, because I'll have all the data. I'll show before and after, thorough reports that I can, put together and stuff like that to kind of start curating some of these things to put on my website and stuff.
That's cool. I wish I had time to do science experiments like that.
That might actually be kind of a thing to hand off to your dad.
Yeah. I don't know. He's helping me run service calls at the moment. So,
How is he?
yeah. It's just
How's
me
he
and
doing?
him. He's good.
Good.
I mean, he's ready to hang up the gauges, but
Well, you better get those boys coming out and,
yeah,
with you
they're
and
gonna help me this summer.
start doing
Yeah.
their guild.
Yeah. They're gonna have to earn their keep this summer
Mm-hmm.
because
What'd you bring me?
I can't seem to find
Thank you.
anybody. I thought I had a good kid. He was 21. He worked for about a month, and I mean, he was strong. He didn't mind lifting, moving, all that kind of stuff. But he got another job at some tree company.
What made him switch?
That's where he came from, with tree work, and that's like all he talked about when we worked together. So
Oh, he liked it.
yeah, it seemed like
Okay.
he enjoyed it. So that's
Huh.
and he didn't like crawl spaces too much.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
That's not gonna go over well in the residential sector.
Yeah.
You guys don't have black widows, do you?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Brown recluse and black
Mhm.
widows are the two ones that. But I mean, spiders, they really don't bother me.
Right.
But some people they do. Lots of people they
Yeah.
do. But I mean, it's part of the job. You got to go
Yep.
down under.
That is true.
So Tanner, do you want to show us what the updates look like in the test environment?
Yeah, I broke my
Sure.
phone, so I just got a new phone today. So
You'll be able to see it.
yeah. Let's see what y'all got.
I think you're gonna like this. It's starting to really make a lot of sense and tie together.
Well, actually, might not be able to.
You don't have the Heroku site?
No, I have it, but it's prompting me to, showing like a billing issue, and it's prompting me to purchase reports.
Oh,
Didn't
Yeah.
you cut out. I think
Ronnie had the same problem.
I was about to say I could have swore Ronnie had the same issue. Well, I need to check the regular version to see if that still has the same issue, because I need it for the morning.
Well, just send them your credit card number.
Yeah,
It's all over the internet already anyway.
They've already got it.
you're right. There we go. Huh. Regular, yeah, so production, no problem, but test environment, it's like pay. Trying to charge me to test out the test environment.
I think it's some kind of like automatic time thing that Eric has to go in there and override every 30 days or something. It seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got me set as a maintenance subscription, Which this is just test environment anyways. Well, I guess I won't be showing that. Oh, let me get him back in here.
Just go to the data input. Just go to the data input one. You don't need to run a report. Show them the data, the measurements tab.
All right, where likely load range and the templates are at.
Yeah,
I got it.
because that's where all the improvements are right now.
Okay.
So what Tanner was talking about is people who get the $6 a month plan have to buy the reports, but
Right.
this is before the reports. So you can go in here. This is covered by the $6 a month right here. And it's too
Likely
small for
load.
me to see on my phone.
Yeah, me too. Likely load range, heating, cooling, and static pressure.
Yeah, so one of the things we're going to do is in the static pressure section, we're going to, we have some fields where people can say how they got to static pressure. You know, was it a visual? Did you measure the ductwork? Did you take static pressure? Did you do measure quick? Did you do measure quick and true flow?
Right.
So that people understand that there's going to be more and more precise ways of measuring that. And in Tanner's example here, you know, that's at a 0.8 or 0.85 static.
Yeah. Is likely load like automated now, or you still
Yeah,
gotta
it's
go out?
automated now. You don't need to use the spreadsheet anymore. You just enter the zip code and the square footage,
That's
basically.
Well, you just
It's
enter in
very
square
cool.
footage, 1 or 2 stories foundation type, and based on the zip code, it'll auto populate the design temps, or you can adjust these if you want
Right.
to. And
Yeah, if it's shaded, you might want to take the design temp down a little on the heating side.
Yeah. I'm not worried about heat.
yeah, which I mean,
I-
you should
I'm
know
sorry,
what
on the
your
cooling side, on the cooling, take it down a little on the cooling side.
Yeah. Cool. I know y'all were working on that for a while.
Oh yeah, we were in Groundhog Day,
Oh yeah.
and then Eric started came back and started doing the programming, and all this stuff is happening real fast now.
Yeah.
But look at how nice that
Yeah.
looks. And so Tanner, what's missing? There's a checkbox that you. Oh yeah, there it is. See the red? See the red line under the cooling load?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking to people and they're like, "Oh, I'm afraid to go small. I'm afraid to go small," then you say, "Okay, so are you afraid to spend $15,000 or $20,000 on ductwork?"
Yeah.
And
So
I
that's
say,
your
"Well, then
duct
that's a hard stop because that's likely all the
pressure limit.
capacity." What's that?
Like a duct pressure limit.
Yeah.
I like
Just
that. That's a
duct
duct pressure
size
limit. Nice.
yeah. And
What's
that'll be
your
dictated under this max capacity in tons. That will tell, depending on where you
right?
place this at, that'll, you can dictate how much airflow the ductwork can currently handle.
Right. That's neat.
So it should be the kind of visual that can pretty quickly and easily be understood by homeowners. Hey, Timmy. I think he's muted.
Hey, Tim.
What?
There he
Okay, I
is.
think I'm good. My mic is being odd.
Huh?
So
You sound good.
if I stop responding, it goes quiet every few seconds, and I have to go swap the source input and go back. So,
Oh, jeez. Intermittent connections. You got to get out the soldering iron.
yeah, hardwire this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So-
that looks awesome. So what does it look? That is the report, or that's
No, but that's sort of what the report will look like.
right?
And then we're also going to be adding fields, text fields, under each module so that you can do a summary, observations or summary under each of these modules.
Looking good.
Is that in here as well currently? Let's see.
I think it might be. And this is put in the right order now. The static pressure comes after 6 functions.
Okay.
So there
Like
aren't any special rules that you got to memorize. You just follow the flow.
The customer facing report.
Yeah. This is a sample of the customer report.
That looks good. That looks slick. And are those pre-populated notes below, or
Those are sort of the standard notes, and then there will also be text fields so that
Like
your
personalized.
observations, are personalized. With having notes under each module will allow really strong documentation that you responsibly avoided responsibility at each step.
I like
Yep.
that. Yeah. It looks good.
Yeah, Eric's done a great job.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot
Yeah, it's
better
kind
than that other guy.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks slick. That looks really good.
Oh, what were you saying, Timmy?
Nope, I was gonna pretty much say the same thing Jason did
Okay.
about developer speed.
Yeah.
Developer speed.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So-
I'll click on Slack when it comes up and read it, and it seems like Eric gets right on top of everything and gets everything hammered down. So
Oh yeah.
and it's come a long way in the past 6 months,
Oh
a
yeah.
year.
Well, yeah.
Even.
Yeah.
Is there a preferred browser Eric likes you to use with it?
Oh God, I don't. That's a really good question. Ask that in bug reports.
Okay.
Tanner, you doing okay with your Chromebook on this now?
Which I don't have a Chromebook. I have a tablet that I use, and I
Tablet,
just run
right.
a Brave browser. But yeah, I've not had any problems.
Okay.
I had a few issues with stuff on iPad using Firefox.
Okay. Well, we need to know.
But it was like with tables and stuff. Then I got my laptop out and like they work
No
on my
problem.
laptop. Yeah.
Okay. So I wonder if with the iPad and Safari, you would have the same problem, because if an iPad on Safari is not working, we really need to know that.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
There's so many different combinations of tools you can
Yeah.
use on the internet that it's hard to work the bugs out in every.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
thing.
Well, like even right now, let's see, I'm just on my laptop. I need to try it on my iPad. On install choices, I don't have like a drag down to rearrange the. I can move the columns. I can't move the rows.
Huh. I
And
think you
it's-
grab the red box, but I'm not sure.
But it shows up on Tanner's like as the little
Yeah.
things are there to grab, but they're not on mine on
Huh.
now they're on the equipment, but they're not on my install.
Oh man, we definitely need a screenshot of that.
Okay. But that's running Chrome. So maybe I need to try something else too.
Huh. I wonder if using Apple, you really. I mean, I think the Apple stuff.
Well, that's on my Windows laptop running
Oh,
Chrome.
oh, so it's not working on Windows.
On Chrome, correct. Yeah, Windows
Oh.
Chrome.
Huh.
But that's a custom made install template. So I don't know. Maybe I just need to make a new one.
Maybe.
So Jason, the next thing, maybe Tanner can show us the printed report so that you see the tables with the smiley faces.
Which I can do the preview here, but I don't think it's going to let me do the PDF because
you gotta pay.
yeah, it's got my account.
Well, that probably you better be showing pay. Are you still in Heroku?
Yes. Wait.
Oh, okay. You could go to your account. I think I didn't see anything different in there, but maybe I'm wrong.
I take that back. I'm not. I was in the standard. That's why it was working.
Okay.
No wonder it was populating. Yeah, because I closed out the other one because it wasn't popping up, which actually did. Hold on, let me go back. Okay, so he did add. Okay, so yeah, this is the production one. So the source, all that change, all this is currently in the working
In production.
Yeah, in production. So if we want to look at what that report looks like. Which let's zoom in a little bit.
Oh yeah, I like that. Sufficient duct, insufficient duct.
Yep. So that's nice. Duct pressure.
And you guys are going to have to convert from duct pressure to airflow. Is one thing that I'm that's sort of nagging at me a little bit, but I mean, you just go to the tables in the equipment manual, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's
not
a
the
few
most
ways.
accurate, but that's
yeah,
simple and dirty.
You should be able to explain.
Yeah.
Well, ideally, people start just doing a measure quick report and then handing the people the report. That's very compelling.
Yeah.
It sort of says, okay, so this is what we estimated, and this is how far we were off. And people will be like, "Oh, you pretty much on the nose, weren't you?"
Yeah. It looks really good.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys have been patient and helpful, helping us get to this far. I think the smiley faces works good Jason, just so you know, the way that we're thinking about the smiley faces now and the tables is the top table is helping people narrow in on the best equipment that their budget will allow. And then the second one will be a comparative where it shows this is your current equipment and smiley faces your current equipment has. This is what the best equipment your budget will allow looks like. And just for comparison, this is the best equipment we offer. So that if they want to have a conversation about the things that they're not getting, you'd have that conversation at the specification step Um, not,
Yeah.
not so much the 6 function step.
It looks good.
I think
It's it's
this
it's real.
software,
I mean, it's there if you ask me.
I think this software is getting close enough that if you guys wanted to try hiring salespeople instead of hiring techs, it might almost be good enough for that.
It would
Because
if
it's
I
going to be
just
a whole lot easier to train than a tech. What were you going to say?
yeah. If I had somebody to put it in, I mean, never has been my problem is selling stuff. Is the thing. I want to sell more better stuff or get my clients to
Have
buy
more
better
smiley
stuff.
faces.
Yeah, to be more happy with what they have, but I mean,
And understand what they're not getting if they aren't willing to move over to the right.
exactly. That's always what I've wanted, but it's never been the
A
problem has
way to
never been
articulate it.
the problem is with me has never been selling equipment or selling anything. It's getting it done, getting the work done once I have a full schedule.
Mhm.
Well, and that's where I'm saying, like,
So if
if you
I
could train
hired a
somebody for
salesman,
sales, you could use you can like lean in on your dad a bit more for, I mean, instead of finding assistants that are going to leave you in a month,
yeah,
you find a salesperson and just pay him commission.
but
Yeah.
I mean, I've got jobs that have been sold for 2 years that I haven't been able to get to. That's my
Right.
problem.
Wow.
That's always been my problem. It's like I don't have an issue with sell. They're willing and ready to buy whatever, but I just can't get it done.
Well, if
And it might be have something to do with me because I want it to be done correctly. So in order for it to be done correctly, I have to at least be there overseeing it. And if I'm there overseeing it, then I'm gonna have my hands in it, and then I'm just gonna be like, hell with y'all. I just do it myself.
Well, right. And so, but time that you're not spending selling, you could be installing.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean, it
And
kind of sounds
same
like
for your
that
dad.
really your time really should probably be focused as much as possible on hiring and training
yeah,
installers at that point. And
yeah,
so, uh, which I mean, you may not be running enough sales calls per se, but at the same time, if you had other people to kind of start offhanding some of those other simpler tasks, and then the more you, because if you've got the lead flow and stuff like that coming in, then you can spend most of your time and resources just towards how do I, find the best people and train them and get them up to where we can install more at higher volumes and
yeah,
and then start to run into the problem of now you need more lead flow and sales and that sort of thing.
yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Well, we are almost an hour and 10 minutes in. We want to go over to the after show.
Let's go.
Oh, well, all right. Well, thanks everybody for coming back out, and we will catch y'all again in 2 weeks.